Welcome to the final edition of Litter Media Live for 2023. I'm Mike Smith, along with Aaron Glandon. Dan has the week off, but we put it in as far as our contribution to 2023.
Yep, he'll be here next year.
Do you have any farewell advice for those who are watching for the 2023 year?
You're really putting me on the spot here.
Don't you ever have any sentimental thoughts about, the year going out and
stay in school?
Okay. For those that are still in school, you're out of school, graduated.
I am out of school.
You've graduated twice. Do you ever have any desire to go back to further your degrees or anything like that?
I don't think so.
So you don't want to be a professional student?
No.
Okay. As we said, this is the final edition of Litter Media Live. Of course, if you're new to this program, we get together like this weekdays, except on the major holidays, which Monday will be one of them. We'll talk more about that at the end of the show. And we talk about the good news in our community, whether it be local news topics, local sports. But we always start with the weather, just to let you know what's coming up. And there's a little bit of a chance of rain over the next couple of days. Cloudy and cooler today, as you can see there. Probably is that Friday, 1 o'clock on our map there, 1 through 4, 7. There's a little bit of a chance of a raindrop here or there. We're looking for a high of 39 today, Friday. Clouds for the New Year's holiday weekend. That's maybe with an exception of a late afternoon show of sunshine tomorrow, but the rest of the day is pretty much overcast, and that's pretty much going to be the norm through New Year's Day, Monday. Daytime highs might get up into the low 40s for Monday, but otherwise we're hovering around the 40-degree mark. Nighttime lows will be around the freezing mark, and we tell you that in case you're going out on New Year's Eve. You might want to take a jacket because it'll be around 32, 33 for a low.
And that's pretty cold.
Especially if the wind's blowing.
Yeah.
Even with the sun out, 40's not bad if the wind's not blowing. That's where
wind will kill you.
It really, really cuts into you. When we come back, we'll take a look at our daily topics. Some good news for some local folks. And in sports, how about those Browns? All that coming up on Litter Media Live. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor, and on target for your needs. We talked a lot about heating yesterday, making sure those furnaces are doing what they need to do. Just a little bit of maintenance tip. Every time the maintenance guys always come around, they say, make sure you change that filter at least once a month, certainly no more than 2 months. I know you can get some of the filters in the store that say, oh, they're good for 3 months. They say that's probably not the best advice, especially if you have a lot of dirt in the air around your home. You want to make sure those filters stay clean so the furnace is running at its optimum. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Most of the topics that you hear us talking about on the show from day to day, you'll find them on our website at littermedia.com. Not everything we talk about is a website story. There's a lot of that stuff that also goes on our social media pages, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, now X. And some of the things are things that we shared. I think Dan Ramey last night shared a story that Channel 10 had done about a Chillicothe infant. I think Mason Young's like 2. Went to, I think was taken to Boston for surgery, heart surgery, wasn't it? Yeah. So we wish Mason and his family well, but that's something that you'll see shared on our Litter Media Facebook page. Something else that we shared yesterday, congratulations goes out to a buddy of ours, Marie Wilbanks. She's been a guest on this program before. Marie was chosen by the Pickaway County Park District as a new park board commissioner, and that takes effect on Monday, January 1st. So obviously that's a holiday, so she'll be probably in the office the following day, but congratulations to Marie. I believe she was in the Dance for Kids' Sake here a couple of years ago as well. Ohio State Highway Patrol is urging drivers who intend to celebrate the new year to plan ahead and designate a sober driver. The patrol's zero tolerance policy is part of the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over enforcement campaign each year. The New Year's holiday reporting period in Ohio begins Friday, today, at midnight and ends Monday, January 1st at 11:59 p.m. So please don't let yourself end up in a mess like that picture right there, and celebrate responsibly, shall we say it that way. Winter has arrived and brought seasonal cold temperatures with it. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Parks and Watercraft reminds visitors to prioritize their preparation and awareness to safely enjoy Ohio's lakes and rivers throughout the chilly season. Water temperatures will continue to drop as the weather becomes cooler, and water cooler than the normal body temperature of 98.6 degrees causes heat loss. In fact, cold water will cool a body 25 times faster than just cold air of the same temperature. Nearly 90% of boating fatalities occur due to drowning, and almost half of those are caused by immersion in cold water. And you might remember it was about, I think it was 3 years ago, this coming January, February, we had 2 people die over in Highland County. The ice broke. A ranger was there to try to help. He ended up dying of a medical emergency. It was a heart attack, but one of the 2 teenagers that fell through the ice drowned. So we don't want to see anything like that happen over the winter months. In an effort to provide the residents of Pike County area with the information about job and training services and resources that are available through the Ohio Means Job Career Center, Pike County, the Workforce and Business Development Program of the Community Action Committee of Pike County will be visiting various locations throughout the area each month in the Ohio Means Jobs Pike County van. The next OMJ Van on the Road event will be Wednesday, January the 14th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., and that will be at the Garnet A. Wilson Public Library at 207 North Market Street in Waverly. So be looking for that for those of you who are watching in from Pike County. High school sports, the loss of an old friend who was a longtime coach in the community, a Browns playoff position, and the Buckeyes in the Cotton Bowl tonight. Some of the things we're talking about next on Litter Media Live Sports. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, this is kind of what the Jets looked like last night. They were orange, and they were all they saw was that brown and orange coming at them all night long, and then they went to the dumpsters. But if you've got some things that need to go into the dumpsters on your property, Scioto Valley Dumpsters, the folks to call. 253-8389. Sports coming up.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
At Rathkamp Financial, we offer customized investment solutions and superior client service. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, oh, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Check out McDonald's 4 locations in Chillicothe, also location in Circleville, Greenfield, and Waverly. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Looking at local sports, high school boys and girls basketball last night. If you check our littermedia.com score page, you'll find all of these. And in all of the games that were played last night, 2 of them involved teams that suffered their first loss of the season. Let's start with the boys. Benton County went in at 7-0, but suffered their first loss, falling to the Chillicothe Cavaliers 65-61 as the
Close
Cavs.
one.
Yeah, Cavs are coming on here at late. They suffered some early season losses, but maybe just getting it turned on as the new year's coming around. Took a while to get this one to us late last night, but Unioto went down to winless Alexander 65-23. Southeastern Panthers were a winner. So was Miami Trace, Fairland, Ironton, Eastern Brown, and North Adams. Now in girls basketball, this was a biggie. Bloom Carroll, who had only lost 1 game thus far going into that contest, they got thumped by Athens 61-50. Jackson, they lost their first game of the season, falling to Minford in non-conference play 38-35. Now Tays Valley, this was non-conference, but they've kind of got off to a bumpy start in girls basketball this year in the MSL. They lose a non-conference game in Charleston, South Carolina.
What are they doing down there?
Yeah, nice way to spend your December. They lost to Oakland, Tennessee, 37-21. Other girls basketball winners last night include Meigs, Portsmouth Clay, Circleville, Lynchburg Clay over Paint Valley, Bishop Reedy over Westfall, South Webster. This one was a big one. Sheridan over Fairfield Union, and the Lady Generals win by 20. Green, Fairfield, Peebles, Fed Hawk, Eastern Brown, Waterford over Fisher Catholic. That was 2 one-loss teams going at it last night, and Waterford wins by 14. And Fairfield Christian, 69-16. We didn't have it on the screen there, but we've got it on our score page. They were a winner over Briggs last night. So whatever the games are for tonight, you can check all of those out later this evening, not only in our Litter Twitter page, formerly Litter Twitter, now X, or our littermedia.com score page at the end of the night. We will tell you that sometimes, for whatever reason, on the mobile app, the scores are slow to update on our score page. It's almost immediate on a laptop or on your desktop computer, but for whatever reason on the mobile side, it's a little slow getting on there. And I'm talking about sometimes an hour before it'll update. But that's why we also put them on our Litter X page. So
We'll just blame the guy that's putting them all in there.
Well, I could take that blame, but they do show up on everything else. So I'm not a tech guy, so I don't understand why that happens. Tough loss for the friends of Charles Chuck Wallace III. Chuck is a great, great guy. Longtime local coach. He passed away the day after Christmas. Chuck grew up in Washington Courthouse, where he graduated from Miami Trace High School. He went on to attend Muskingum University, where he was a dual sport athlete in wrestling and football. He taught at Chillicothe High School for over 35 years and coached multiple high school sports, notably wrestling, but he was also a freshman football coach and helped out with track and field. Chuck was inducted into the Chillicothe High School Athletic Hall of Fame, you might remember, in January of 2020. We pray for Chuck's family at this loss, but Chuck, such a nice guy. The Cleveland Browns, woo-hoo, first time in 3 years they're going to the playoffs. They clinch a berth last night with a 37-20 win over the Jets. And it's the first time in NFL history that a team has gone to the playoffs using a 4th-string quarterback in that season. In other words, this is Joe Flacco is the 4th guy that they've gone to as their quarterback. And for the 4th game in a row, he's thrown for over 300 yards.
He's hitting his second peak.
This is such a great story. They have, I think they were NFL's network. They were showing how many guys are on injured reserve. I mean, key players.
Yeah.
They've got one offensive lineman, I think, that started on opening day that's still playing right now because the rest of them are hurt. Of course, you know the story of Nick Chubb and so forth. But they just keep finding ways to win. Now, they may burn out in the first game of the playoff. They've got the Bengals, not this weekend, but the following weekend to wrap up the regular season. They don't need that win to get into the playoffs. I think they said if Miami were to knock off Baltimore, you might see the Browns go all in on that Bengals game because they could win the division if they beat the Bengals and the Ravens lose their next two. I don't see Baltimore losing their last two.
No.
So
We'll see.
They may take that last week against the Bengals to rest up some of these guys that are hurt and go at it in the postseason. But a wait and see. College football, the bowl season is underway. There's 4 or 5 games being played today starting at noon. I can't even remember what bowl game it is that starts at noon. But the Buckeye fans want to know about this one. The Cotton Bowl tonight down in Dallas at 8 o'clock as they will be taking on Missouri. Go Bucks. I think ESPN has that one tonight. And finally, the National College Football Playoff semifinals. That's on New Year's Day, Michigan against Alabama, and also Washington against Texas to determine who will be going on to the national championship game. When we come back, we'll look at this date in history, taking you back to 1778, right here on Litter Media Live.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
Dixie Chopper. Speed when you need it.
Visit your local Dixie Chopper dealer today or visit DixieChopper.com.
Budweiser beer, the king is second.
Who drinks Budweiser? You know the type. The people who grind. Those who don't back down. And the ones who don't quit. They say all people are 6 degrees of separation away from each other. But some are just a 6-pack away. The people who share the same spirit, share the same beer. This Bud's for you.
One of our good listeners and good friends, Luella, we call her Lou Kearns, was telling us that her grandkids, Reese and Davis, were at that Browns game last night, and they enjoyed themselves. I'm assuming they were Browns fans. They brought up a memory during the game last night, and it's just like, you're old, dude. The first ever Monday night football game, in the Monday night football game telecast, was the New York Jets at Cleveland. I watched that game.
Back in 1942? Whenever it was?
Not quite that far ago. I think it was in 1970 because the Jets were just coming off having won the Super Bowl in '69. The Browns were always good. They would get to the what was known as the NFL championship game, which is now the NFC.
Right. Before the Super Bowl era.
Well, no, this was the Super Bowl era. That started in '66. I'm talking about from '66 to the early '70s. The Browns were good. They would get into the championship game each year and then lose. I mean, they'd get killed. I think Baltimore beat them 35-0 the year that the Jets upset the Colts. The following year, they got in the NFL title game against the Vikings. The Vikings thumped them. and then Minnesota gets beat by Kansas City in the Super Bowl. So hard luck times for the Browns. So I'm sure they were going wild in Cleveland last night when they clinched that playoff berth. Now, this date in history, we take you back to 1778. British Lieutenant Colonel Archibald Campbell and his force of between 2,500 and 3,600 troops, which included the 71st Highland Regiment, New York Loyalist, which means they were supporting the British,
right,
and Hessian mercenaries, launched a surprise attack on American forces defending Savannah, Georgia. So they took it to a warmer climate to fight because they said it's too cold up there. Let's see what trouble we can get into in Georgia. You ever been to Savannah?
I have, actually. I've sat on the Forrest Gump bench.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I've heard great things about Savannah. I've not been there. Been to Charleston, South Carolina many times. That's a really neat city, but they say that Savannah is very comparable to Charleston.
Nice. I think we went on a carriage ride around the town.
Did you go? Have you ever been to Charleston?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that comparison is accurate or not?
I don't really remember Charleston as well. I was a kid when I went to both these places.
Oh, last year. He's still a kid. All right.
I'm a grown man, Mike.
We'll see. As we wrap up the year, the Friday is always kind of like a movie thing for the weekend. We're still trying to decide, my family and I, what day we're going to go see Boys in the Boat. It was Saturday. Now I think it's Sunday afternoon. We'll see. But we want to check out that story. You had some things that you wanted to touch on for the New Year's Eve.
I found a list of movies that would be good to sync up what's happening at midnight for a pivotal moment in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I have it on my phone here. All right. Have you seen the Avengers movies?
One or two. One or two of them.
Well, there's
Captain Marvel counts, right?
Sure.
Does the Iron Man movies count?
Sure.
So I've seen several. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in Avengers Infinity War and in Avengers Endgame, there's a crucial moment where someone snaps their fingers, and you could sync that up to midnight. I've done it before. It wasn't that exciting. A New Hope, watching the Death Star explode right at midnight. That's the best one I've ever done. I highly recommend that. And if you turn it on at 10:02 and 43 seconds, that's when to do that. Back to the Future, when the lightning strikes the clock tower.
Yeah.
You could sync that up with midnight. That'd be real exciting. I haven't done that one. Maybe I'll do that next year because I already have a plan for this year. When Harry Met Sally, doing the New Year's countdown.
Okay.
Because that's kind of a New Year's movie.
I thought maybe you were going to say the cafeteria scene.
No.
Oh, golly. Go ahead.
And this year I'm doing the first Rocky movie because he fights Apollo Creed on New Year's, and we're going to sync up the final bell. Because after that, everybody in the movie kind of goes wild too. So it'll be a celebration.
Now, I just have one question.
Okay.
Has it ever crossed your mind that instead of doing these movie sync-ups for a scene at midnight, that you ever get a pretty girl and kiss her at midnight?
Well, you do that after the movie.
Oh,
or when it
that's at
happens in the
midnight.
movie.
That's at the strike of midnight.
Yeah, but you got to watch what happens on the screen first, just for a second.
Okay. I was trying to think of some new, we were talking about Christmas movies last week, some movies that might have a New Year's theme or New Year's Eve theme. The irony is that many of those were movies that have a Christmas theme too.
Right.
I mean, when you're only separated by a week, they kind of blend together. But there's a number of, there's a movie called, actually the original story was Kind Sir. It stars Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman. But it's a comedy. He's not married, but he wants Ingrid to think he is, so that she won't want to get married.
Right.
But he still wants to date her and have all of the benefits. But at the end, he comes in at the stroke of midnight to propose. Well, she in the interim has found out that he's not really married, and she's going to play this practical joke on him, and it backfires, and it's hilarious. I won't tell you more about it, but if you ever, it's called Indiscreet.
Okay.
I think it was made in 58, so that's one that you might want to check out if you have nothing else to do other than the Death Star thing or kiss a pretty girl on New Year's Eve.
Well, unfortunately, I won't get around to that this year.
The kiss a pretty girl thing. Okay. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you, buddy. Anything you want to say before we close out? This is the last time for 2023.
No.
Well, you're just full of good tidings and joy for everybody out there, aren't you? Okay. Well, we hope that all of you have had a great 2023. I know that in some cases, some folks are thinking, I will be glad when this year's over. 2024 can't be any worse. So I know we live in, different worlds where good things, bad things are happening in people's lives simultaneously. But we hope that 2024 is going to be a great year for everybody watching in, or a prosperous new year, as we say in business talk. But we mean that from our hearts here at Litter Media to all of you. So for Dan Ramey and Aaron Glandon, this is Mike Smith saying, Happy New Year, everybody, and good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We'll see you in 2024. We're taking Monday off for the holiday. We'll see you here back on Tuesday, Lord willing, January 2 of 2024. Have a great weekend and a safe weekend, everybody.